What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Portia Dorsey, and we are elevating your success mindset. We are talking about your mindset, your mission, and your money. So today we're going to talk about money in a roundabout way again. But the title of this message is, what is an abundance mentality? Okay. What is an abundance mentality? I know you've heard that before, having a lack mentality and having an abundance mentality. So I have three things that I think characterize an abundance mentality. So let's get into it. Okay, an abundance mentality is understanding that lack is a man-made construct. Okay, so God spoke everything into existence, and creation has been recreating ever since. We're not eating the same apples from the tree that He spoke into back in Genesis. No, the apples have been recreating, the trees have been recreating all this time. You can't exhaust the abundance of God. You can't exhaust it quicker than it's being created. Amen. And it also has a limit on it, because we're not overrun with apple trees either. It's like, man, everything is it's reproducing so rapidly. We don't have room to put it all. We don't have, no. It's keeping right in step with the amount of people on the earth, with what's needed, right? My God shall supply all of my needs according to His riches. And so why I say lack is a man-made construct is because powers have taken the apples, right, stored them, and then said, okay, an apple costs this much, or you can only get an apple if, right? And then you give these people enough for apples, and you withhold apples from these people, or they don't make enough to buy the apples. I'm using apples as an example, right? So that is where the lack came from. It's a man-made construct, but greater is in you than is in the world. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you that don't let that be an excuse of why you can't overcome, because because of the system that we live in. It's designed to keep us. Yeah, it is, but you can overcome that design too, and we'll get into that as well. All right, so second characteristic of an abundance mentality is understanding that we ourselves are key players in God's abundance. So He gave us the power to create out of nothing. Just like plants, and just like pregnancy, how they recreate off of a seed. When we have the seed of an idea, we have the seed of our purpose, right? God knows the plans He has for us, the plans to prosper us, bring us to an expected end. That enables us, just like an apple tree. We grow with our seed, with our purpose. We grow into abundance. We produce. There we go. We produce abundance. And guess what? You know how an apple, if you have one apple, well, yeah, that's kind of like, man, I only have this one apple, right? But guess what? That one apple has seeds in it. That one apple has multiple apple trees inside the apple. That is how abundant God made the earth. And so just like us, when we create, when we allow out of nothing, out of our imagination, our reasoning, all those invisible faculties, our world is like 90% invisible, guys. So when we're creating out of our spirit, out of our invisible faculties, when we're using our creative faculties, that is the unseen. Just like how plants grow, you don't see what's happening in the soil. Just like how a baby grows in the womb, we don't get to see how that's happening. We're like, how, right? It's one of God's mysteries. It's that creative process that He spoke in the beginning. We are a part of that creative process. Wow, how did you build this company? How did you? It came out of us. We're the seed. We hold the seed, and then we work the creation, and we grow, and then we produce fruit, right? And then what happens? So then the fruit, here is how you overcome the system of lack, the man-made system of lack. In the fruit that you produce are seeds for more fruit. That's why God is just saying, be fruitful and multiply. Just be fruitful. Just grow the idea that you have. And then God adds the increase. It's a God thing. It happens under the soil. It happens in the invisible. It happens in your imagination, in your reasoning, in your desire, in your belief. it happens, and then that inspires you to take action, to take the right actions in a certain way in alignment with your purpose. And then you bear fruit. And then when you begin to bear fruit from that one seed that you're working on, you'll see that in that fruit is more seeds for more fruit. And you just being fruitful. That is abundance. That is how you get into abundance. That's how you overcome the man-made system of lack. Lack is a man-made construct. You have to understand that in order to really lock in on the fact that God is abundant. God is abundant. He hasn't stopped. He spoke it into existence, and existence has not stopped creating. All right. Third characteristic of an abundance mentality: knowing that out of abundance we receive, and out of abundance we give. And so then you should have no fear when you're giving, when you're sowing seeds. So in the parable of the talent, the one who had one talent, when the landlord had asked him about the one talent, he said, I was afraid, he used that term, I was afraid, or I was fearful, right? And so that lets you know, number one, it says that he gave them talents according to their ability. So he only got one talent in the first place because he was like, man, he's in fear, right? And so you have to understand that you receive out of abundance, out of the unseen, out of God's creation, and then you're also giving back to abundance. So if I give someone $20, I'm not really giving to that person. I'm letting it go, right? That person is a part of God's ecosystem. God knows, that I let 20 go, right? Out into abundance. And I know that has a ripple effect. I know that abundance is already sees that it owes me, right? Like, it's a higher level concept, but the more you understand it, the more you'll understand it. And I'm still really like coming into it myself, but this stuff is so good, like I have to share. That is why I started this channel. So if you are digging these messages, like, share, subscribe. I have a coaching group. It is a free coaching group. We have 2 calls a month, and we always have like fire topics. It's always great conversation. You are invited. The link to that is in the description box below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.